I want to become a master in joy, and I want joy to be integrated in all parts of my life. I want joy to be so natural for me, so I'm almost not even thinking about it. It's just should just be a state that I'm in as much as possible. And if you're anything like me, then you might also have experienced moments and times when you have difficulties in connecting with joy. For many, many years, I struggled with and really tried to understand why I couldn't connect to joy, why I had so difficulties in feeling that a moment could just be happy. Even though it was a fun moment or it was a great moment, I had kind of a nagging feeling of discontentment, and if I didn't have it in the moment, discontentment was not far away. It was like the next 10 minutes or when I came home or whatever, the discontentment started again. So I started to believe that this was something that I had to live with the rest of my life. I just had to learn and settle with knowing that, yeah, I will feel discontent quite often, and in between life. So eventually I started to find how to create different circles of joy, as I call it, and how I learned how to practice joy. And why I say practice joy, because it is actually as with everything else, especially if you feel that you sometimes have difficulties in connecting with your joy and feeling a certain type of separation, as I said, then it might be a good idea for you to practice joy. Maybe you need to practice that a little bit extra, and there is no shame in it. One of the things that I felt that was really when I started to learn and connect and come into joy was when I started to experience true purpose in life. And when I found more about what is my purpose and what am I purpose to do. That is kind of a really good clue or really good help to have, but it doesn't have to be that for you. But I just want to mention that a little bit quickly, that was one of the kind of foundations in joy that helped me to create these circles of joy, because it helped me to know kind of, okay, what circles, what activities, what thoughts, etc., does give me meaning, do feel like it's very purposeful for me to do. So we'll continue a little bit on the track of discontentment to start with, because this is an important step. This is almost as step 0 in order for you to really be able to create circles of joy. So I call it to create your individual energy map. So essentially what this map do is that we learn and we reflect upon several times what is draining our energies, what is weighting us down, what is making us feeling low, what is making us feeling depressed, what is making us feeling that we're not feeling good, over our lives, or what is making us feeling dissatisfied, okay, and what is making us feeling misaligned. When we're creating our individual energy draining map, we do figure out and we do see very clearly what is burdensome to us. And from that state, we can look at, okay, these parts, they gotta go. They gotta go because they are in the way. They're creating this separation for me to feel joy. They're standing in the way for joy, right? So we have to look at that first. That's why I'm saying that is step number 0. Worth mentioning is that this map you should keep alive, meaning this map you should go back to and check up into or tune into quite often, actually. And if you have seen my tarot reading in regards to what brings you energies and what give you energy, this is something which I talk about then as well. I do mention that I, especially during those times when I finally started to create more circles of joy, I had a time where I daily looked into what activities that does bring me energy and what doesn't. I looked into and I asked myself daily in the end of the day, and I wrote it down so I could track it and I could see very clearly for me, okay, what have brought me down today? What have made me feel low today? Is it some type of food? Is it some type of people? Is it some type of task that I've been doing? Is it some type of thoughts that I've been having doing these tasks? What have I told myself? Have I been encouraging? Have I feel empowered today? I I had all these type of questions and really reflected throughout my days. And when I had a very fresh memory, that's why it's good to do it daily for a while to, in the beginning, set this internal map. So I had it fresh in my mind of, okay, what has actually happened today? What conversations have I had? What thoughts did I have in relationship to those, or in connection to those conversations? And okay, that made me actually feel very low, and so forth. So that really helped me in understanding more of what drained my energy and where are those type of energy thieves. And that is also a great way to identify what in our lives that we feel that we don't have, that we feel that we are lacking. So we have to expose ourselves to joy. We need to practice joy, as I talked about, right? And in order for us to practice joy, and in order for us to expose ourselves to joy, we need to be in the present moment. We need to be able to enjoy the moment. Many times, what I've noticed with myself is that when I do have some type of troubles connecting to joy, and feeling true enjoyment in the moment, is because I'm somewhere else. I'm thinking about something else that happened in the past, or I'm thinking about something that I gotta, wanna, or whatever do in the future, or I'm thinking about a possible outcome. I'm not there in the present moment. I'm disconnecting from the moment. I'm separating myself from the moment. So of course I'm not able to connect to joy, because yeah, my body is here, but my mind, my desires, my passion, my heart, where's my heart? It's almost as it's closing off in the moment if I'm not present. And many times we can go to these beautiful trips, or we can go to whatever fun party, or being with amazing people, but if we have internal obstacles, or if we have internal noise going on, it's difficult to connect to joy. I know that. So yeah, you have to expose yourself for joy. So what I notice when it comes to expose ourselves to joy, many times it is about actually accepting our choices, accepting that right now, right here, right now, I choose and I accept to be in this moment. I choose and accept to fully embrace this moment and be in this moment. And all the other things that I have around me in the past, in the future, in the close future, near future, or like far away, it doesn't really matter. If I, in being brave enough and choose to rely on what I choose to do in this moment, and if I accept that moment, then I can truly connect to the moment as well. So getting ourselves exposed to joy, this is a technique which I use in various of areas when I need to connect to a certain type of frequency. So this one is very good, and you can use it for many different areas, as I say. So this is to know what joy really feels like, to know what joy really looks like. And how we can do that is that we kind of impersonate that joy, that energy, that frequency. We impersonate by making it a person. And you probably heard about this before, and it is so good to use this technique. This technique is awesome, actually. So what you do is that you think through that, okay, what does joy feel like? How does joy look like for me? Is it a certain type of, I don't know, colors, or is it a certain type of easiness? What is it? How does joy look like? How does joy feel like? And you continue like that. Okay, if joy would be a person, what would joy do? What would joy feel during the days? What would joy prioritize? What type of boundaries would joy have? Is there a certain type of activities joy would do? Is there something that joy would really, really, really like do that it hadn't done yet? Really dig into and impersonate that person, like impersonate that type of feeling. That will help you to get in contact with your internal guidance, and your internal guidance which is spinning, give your ideas. This is, I love this technique. It's a fun journaling technique, and it's also giving a lot of insight. So I do definitely recommend that if you are feeling drawn to that method. to use to create circles of joy. And then, of course, one important thing to do after that, which I also do, is that I create action points. So when I'm done with that type of persona, I create action points. I'm seeing that how far and or how close am I towards this person, and what type of action points do I need to create in order for me to become more of this frequency, become more of this person, but this frequency, this vibration, this emotional state. When it comes to joy and creating circles of joy, practice joy in our daily life, we need to talk about assumptions as well. Assumption is something which I've noticed myself have been in the way for me creating joy. And I notice many times when I talk to people that, okay, there is an assumption that is underneath and is standing in the way, is blocking this joy to be created, so to say. So when we're talking about assumptions, we talk about what you're assuming about a certain situation or what you're assuming out of other people. Assumptions is so important to work with when it comes to creating joy and creating circles of joy, practicing joy in your life. Because what I've noticed is that many times we are assuming things that is internalized based on low self-esteem, or based on some certain type of negative experience we had, or some type of feeling that we just got, some thought that we just got. It is so many times when we are assuming things and it turn out to be the opposite, or it turn out to not be that negative loaded that we believe it is. So we internalize a lot of things and believe that to be true. Assumptions made me to feel that I couldn't really appreciate the moment, because it was many times where for instance, I had a lot of, and I still actually have, it happened for a couple of days ago, a similar situation which I recognized my kind of old patterns of feeling mistrust towards people and feeling less than when it comes to, how what people really think about you, and if people really like to be with you. Having a little bit difficulty sometimes in understanding when someone is coming from a very pure state of mind and coming from a very loving heart and not. So because of that, I kind of created this mistrust towards people, and there are a bunch of other things why I created mistrust towards others people. This was just an example, but because of I'm assuming that a person is doing something because of a reason. This person is only being kind to me because of this person wants something out of me. This person, having those type of thoughts, that doesn't help to live in the moment, and doesn't help to enjoy the moment and see the moment for it is. Building a support system of joy. This really talks about the deep devotion to joy, the deep devotion to start to connect if you don't have, or dig deep into your relationships and see how you can change your relationships so you do create joy together. This is in regards to not just taking fights for fights. It comes to in regards to prioritizing enthusiastic connections, deep connections where you really feel good, and connections where you don't get into conflict in that way with each other. You don't need to be mad at each other, or you don't need to fight. You understand each other, you see each other, you listen to each other's perspectives, and you have a beautiful dialogue, a growing dialogue together. Building these systems of joy where you feel that my mornings are joyful, my breaks are joyful. During lunch, I create systems that keep me in a joyful matter, keep me in a joyful state. This is in regards to creating evening systems in regards to that. And once again, I really do want to become a master of joy, as I said in the beginning. So I want that to be normalized. I want that to be in every single moment. And I want to not being maybe need to create joy in a certain type of way, or practice joy in a certain type of way. But until I'm there, I gotta practice it. Until I'm there, I gotta practice it so it becomes natural for me to connect to that feeling. And something which I want to say that I didn't say in the beginning actually was that if you experience some type of trauma or several of traumatic events, many times what happens, you can look it up, you can search a little bit for it yourself, but many times what happens is that you create this separation from joy, and you create this separation from self. That's why many times spirituality is really healing for us who have experienced trauma in some certain type of way, because it's beyond our body, it's beyond our mind. It happens on a spiritual level many times, and that's why we need to take in spirituality to help us with that. So that's why also when we're talking about being separated from ourselves or feeling the separation from ourselves, we maybe many times have needed to do that in order for us to get through that moment or moments, because some people do experience repeating traumatic events through psychological abuse and so forth. So because of that, I just want to mention that it is not so obvious for all of us to be joyful all the time. It's not so obvious for us to know exactly what brings us joy and creates joy for us. And that's why we just need to practice it a little bit more before it comes a part of us in one way or another. Or it is, of course, always a part of us, but so we feel that connection with it. So we need to prioritize joy. How do we value joy, and how do we value joy compared to other things? Do we think it's more important for us to work that 2 extra hours in order to get something done, in order for the result to get down, but we feel that it's not fun these 2 last hours. I'm tired, I want to do something else, I want to play, but still we continue to work instead? Or do we wake up and have a feeling of unease, but we just push it away a little bit? That is not prioritizing our joy. That is not, we're pushing it down in our system instead, we're suppressing it. So it's very important that we have a look at, how do I prioritize joy? And if I'm truly honest with myself, what are the values, or what are the activities, or whatever, what do I do that show that I do prioritize other things before joy? So we need to be really devoted towards joy if we do want to feel that type of fulfillment. Okay, so I will soon wrap it up for today. I feel so energetic. I feel that I want to continue and talk about circles of joy, because as I said in the beginning, there are so many different perspectives of it. And comment if you have your go-to idea or go-to practice or whatever, how you create joy. I would love to hear that. Maybe I will get some help from that as well. Something which have helped me a lot when it comes to joy is in regards to my self-talk. Okay, so it's in regards to also the kind of attitude that I have towards things, how to deal with that negative loaded assumption is to adjust my self-talk, and adjusting it in the way that instead of running into the conclusion of, oh, what will this person say now, going to, I wonder what this person will say. I wonder what kind of surprises this person will bring me. I wonder if this person can help me even better, even bigger than I thought that it could. I wonder if something will happen today that would just make me, I don't know, feel good. I wonder is, and you can find your own little thing, but I wonder is something that had helped me a lot to just put my mind into another state that feels a little bit better. It's like, I wonder, yeah, what do you wonder? I wonder is so, I just get so happy when I say I wonder. I feel that the world is enchanted. I feel the magic around me. Words are magic. You probably heard that before, and it is. So paying close attention to your self-talk can really help you to improve your self-joy as well. I will wrap it up today, and I kept the big and maybe longer term lesson for you in the end. That is something which I have one of the longer term lessons for me, and that is to create unconditional joy, unconditional happiness. For a couple of years back now, when I went through a phase of healing my wounded inner child, I needed to heal my connection to love and see how many relationships, many connections, how I've been taught to be loved and love conditionally. And to create this unconditional love was one of the major breakthroughs for me. And I believe that is with joy as well. So many times we do experience some days when we just feel a little bit lower, or something happens, we can't really control it. Something big can happen also, we can't control that either. And we can actually decide how we want to embrace that. We can actually decide if we want to connect joy and happiness to that or not. We can decide if we want to condition happiness. We can decide that, yeah, I feel happy because of this. I feel happy, And what I said today, actually, essentially in the end, that is, we are conditioning happiness. And I believe that it's one step of going towards releasing our conditioning for happiness, to create more circles of happiness, to get into that kind of state, to normalize it, as I talked about, to practice it, to feel it, to really connect to it, so we then can stop to also add any type of conditions to happiness. Say that, oh, I'm so happy today, today is so great, today was such a good day because this and this and this happened. I have this bigger belief that one day I maybe don't need to say that. Maybe one day I can just be like, I feel very great. Maybe that happens tomorrow even, right? So I hope that this gave you energy, ideas, insights, whatever you need, confirmation to create more joy in life, to create circles of joy, to practice joy, and also to be able to feel that connection with your internal joy and your enjoyment. This channel is about creating soul resonance, and I do talk about everything in regards to fulfillment, joy, self-resonance, and getting into alignment and getting into your aligned path in order for you to connect to your soul and tap into your soul frequency. Thank you for liking and sharing this video too, if you do resonate with this one. And I just want to say thank you for being here, that through your energy are just being so encouraging and so supporting and so loving, and want to embark on this journey and continue on this journey together with me, pave your own paths even as well. So yeah, thank you all for being here, creating space for yourself and for me. Okay, keep on listening to your Within Talks. I see you next time. Take care. Bye.